What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of HMR podcast. So we're down a member. Lewis cannot be here today, which is unfortunate. But we're still working things out. We're gonna get back in the clack. It's fine. All right. Also, excuse how I sound because I'm a bit sick today. So we're on strings right now, but it's fine because I think it fits for the. I don't even have my document open up for the movie. So today, on a Marvelous Retrospective, Incredible Hulk. But today I'm joined by the artistic anomaly, Tyler.
What's up, gamers?
And my brother from another mother, Ben.
Hi.
So today's episode, The Incredible Hulk. Let me bring out my notes real quick. This hot damn.
I went into this movie having seen it before on multiple occasions because I don't know why, but for some reason we own it. I think it was one of those movies that was at Dollar Tree one day or something like that. But we got it for cheap, and so I watched it a bunch when I was a kid, and I thought nothing of it until freshman year when I realized this movie isn't that great at all. Why did I like it before? And then I actually went into it today and realized that it's not good, but it's definitely better than my brain remembered it to be.
Okay, before we do any of that, let me just introduce. Alright, so the movie. Incredible Hulk, released June 13th, 2008. I think a month or so after Iron Man? The turnaround from...
June 13th? That would be a month and a half, yeah.
Yeah, the turnaround's really fast. With a runtime of an hour and 52 minutes. And Jesus Christ, I thought it was longer. Oh, jeez. This movie feels so long. I could have sworn it was 2 hours and 40 minutes. I kid you not. Hot diggity. It's one of the shortest, I think it's the shortest MCU movie. And I can't believe that. This movie is legitimately, okay, it's, directed by Louis Leterrier, whose key directorial...
Louis Leterrier.
Oh, Leterrier?
He's French.
Whose key directorial roles include Unleashed, The Transporter 1 and 2, and The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. I have seen none of those.
So what's interesting about that is that, so I watched the movie and then I looked it up just to figure out who directed it and stuff, and I was like, I know this guy. He's directed some good stuff. And then he's also directed this and Clash of the Titans. It's interesting because he's not a bad director. He's just had some bad luck.
Yeah. A budget of $150 million, just 10 million more than Iron Man around. But a box office of $264.4 million with a profit of $134.8 million, making it the lowest grossing film in the MCU. Which to me is crazy, but at the same time not surprising. Because it's crazy because it's Incredible Hulk. I think Incredible Hulk at the time was a pretty popular character. But this movie is just So I have some little tidbits and Easter eggs and stuff like that. Louis originally wanted Mark Ruffalo for the role of Bruce Banner, but Marvel insisted on Edward Norton. Ironically, Ruffalo would go on to replace Norton as Banner in future MCU movies. Do any of you guys know why they went with Mark Ruffalo?
It's because I do actually. It's because Norton after a few years after the Incredible Hulk, when they were going to have him come back for Avengers, said no because he was afraid that he was going to be pushed into that celebrity trap of being basically related to one role their entire career. Like, for example, like Luke Skywalker and Mark Hamill, or
Well, okay, that's a really bad
Iron
example. So
Yeah, it
really,
is a bad
he only
example,
played Luke
but,
Skywalker in like what, like 5.5 movies.
movies, and then
I think a lot of the like Robert Downey
2.5
Jr. is a way better example of. I don't think he was a big actor before. And going into Robert Downey.
He was a pretty big actor before. I'm pretty
exactly.
sure.
Oh, was he?
Robert Downey Jr. was in a lot of films before, but he
didn't really get big until
Iron Man really brought him back.
It's like whenever I see Iron Downey Jr., I'm like, damn, that's Tony Stark right there. Or like Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. No, not really. Even he played Wolverine for a long time, but like, you know what? Not important.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Edward Norton didn't want to get caught in that celebrity trap.
Yeah.
Where he wanted to be able to branch out into other roles, which is good because he is in a lot of other really, really good roles. I like him a lot as an actor.
So, a little fun fact for you: Edward Norton actually contributed to a lot of the rewrites for this movie. Yeah, he's credited under a pseudonym. I don't remember it's like Edward something, but he did rewrite this movie, and
he wanted to be credited as a main writer, but because he only really did some rewriting, the same plot and characters were still there from the original script. They decided to only either uncredit him or let him just go unnoticed.
Near the beginning of the movie, when Banner is flipping channels on the television, one of the shows he stops on is The Courtship of Eddie's Father, which starred Bill Bixby. Bixby, he's on the screen, he played Dr. Banner in the 1977 television series of Incredible Hulk. So there's in my notes I have insert purple pants reference here. Do you guys want to talk about? There's a scene where the Hulk he's in a different city or town or whatever, and he's getting some clothes, and he gets purple pants, and he's like, no, I want them stretchy. But so it's an Easter egg.
Yeah.
So
there are a few purple pants references in this movie.
Yeah. So after the Hulk appears at Culver University, two students are interviewed in the news, named Jack McGee and Jim Wilson. Jack McGee was a tabloid reporter who attempted to track down the Hulk in the series Incredible Hulk. And in the comics, Jim Wilson was a young runaway who befriended the Hulk and was a nephew of Sam Wilson / the Falcon. So this is the only MCU movie, Phase 1 movie, where Nick Fury does not appear, though his name appears in the opening credits montage on the S.H.I.E.L.D. page. The military base Fort Johnson was named after Kenneth Johnson, who was the writer, director, and producer of the Incredible Hulk 1977 television series. So a lot of love for the 1977 series.
It was a really popular TV series.
Yeah. So Samuel Stearns gets the Hulk's blood in a wound in his head. His head starts to mutate, and then he smiles. It's a reference to the villain, the leader, in the Marvel comics. Samuel Stearns is in fact the leader, who's a supervillain. I wrote down that this is a foreshadowing of his role as a possible sequel in the main villain, but I'm not even gonna.
What's interesting is that was the original idea, but they actually mention because the fans were interested in seeing what happens to the leader and stuff, but there was no sequel before the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which character mentions it, but it's either Nick Fury or Phil Coulson talk about how they took down the leader and stuff.
Yeah.
Between the events of the Incredible Hulk and the Avengers.
Whether or not he'll come back, I don't know. There's a lot of I don't knows in this movie. Now I have some no tidbits, not Easter eggs, some tidbits. Liv Tyler accepted her role without reading the script. Sounds about right. So I have so this movie is one of the it's the only one of the 3 movies released in the summer of 2008 based on the comic book that wasn't nominated for any Academy Awards. The others being The Dark Knight and Hellboy, the Golden Army, Hellboy 2, the Golden Army, and it deserves it. And it doesn't deserve the Academy Award. This movie sucks. This and other Easter egg I already covered. This is the shortest film in the MCU, and boy does not feel like it. And boy indeed, this movie is a drag. First 30 to 40 minutes where nothing happens. There's a point in this movie. I was watching this with my mom. So around 40 minutes, she got some spaghetti, and she said she's not gonna pause it because she probably won't miss anything. And that right about perfectly summarizes my thoughts of the movie. You can skip it on your MCU watch through, and you will not miss anything at all. This movie does not matter. It doesn't. I think it's one of the MCU movies with the least amount impacting the overall MCU. Incredible Hulk, he's gonna be appears in Avengers. Even that movie kind of references this movie, but it doesn't matter. I have never seen this movie before until watching it for this episode, and I got around just fine. Honestly, I'd say I'm worse watching this movie. It's not good. I don't like it. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I actually, so like I mentioned earlier, I watched it a bit more when I was younger, and I decided it was awful, so I haven't watched it in actually probably a few years now. But watching it, after finishing it, I was surprised to figure out that I actually don't hate it as much as I did when I originally decided that it was bad. It's still not a good movie in my eyes. I didn't enjoy it.
Some would even say it's a bad movie. Some would even say it's a terrible movie, and I am some. Okay, this movie is terrible, dude.
I'm not some. I do think this movie has some good merits.
I can't in good conscience agree.
Not a lot. There are some things that I agree with this movie.
Holy cow! The first, especially that first. I'm gonna say first 30 to 40 minutes, but it's just the whole movie where it's just I'm waiting for something to happen and nothing happens. Nothing happens in this entire movie. The plot summary is gonna be really short because unlike the plot summary of Iron Man, I didn't even bother to write down for this movie. I remember enough. I didn't write down anything because it's just not. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Fine. Danny. People can enjoy it. Okay. You know what? That's fine. People can enjoy it. But if I will not agree or disagree. But if someone tries to defend this movie saying, "Oh yeah, it matters in the MCU," no, it doesn't. It just ultimately
it doesn't have too much of future acknowledgement.
Yeah, Tony Stark shows up. Okay, cool. He was the character with the most personality in this movie, and he appeared in a minute to 2 minutes.
He was there for 2 seconds, and he was the best character in the damn movie.
The best scene in the movie was one of the shortest. Yeah.
What is it? Robert Downey Jr. actually, for that scene, at the very end, he actually came in as a courtesy. He didn't come in because he was being paid to. He came in because Kevin Feige gave him a call, and he was like, "Hey, we just want to add a little scene at the end to tie this together a little more." And he said, "Okay." And the main reason because of that was because while touring for Iron Man and doing promotional work for that with interviews and stuff like that, he would have to mention the Incredible Hulk, and so he decided it would probably be a good idea if he had a presence in the movie, for at least just a little bit, so it would make sense as to why he was even promoting this other film.
Oh, jeez. Do you want me to just go into plot real quick? Or do any of you guys have anything to add? Do you have anything to add, Tyler?
Alright, so in this movie, I will compare it to a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It looks nice. You want to take a nice bite out of it, but then you eat it, and then the inside is tuna and jelly. It tastes bad. It tastes awful. It's fucking terrible. That's my feelings on this movie.
I love that so much, actually.
Sandwich.
Okay, so the plot.
So we can safely say the Incredible Hulk is a peanut butter and tuna sandwich. That's what this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd say it's just strawberry jelly and tuna sandwich. Not even like grape. Probably not a good example because I think some people like strawberry jelly, but I don't. But
I like strawberry jelly.
You know, okay. Well, honestly, I'm not even surprised. But okay, plot.
I like apple jelly.
We open up. Actually, we don't open up. Credits. All right. We see how Hulk was born, and it doesn't matter because I didn't register any of that. Okay. Can you guys tell me what happened? Because if I didn't have further knowledge of the Incredible Hulk, those credits did nothing for me. I have no idea who anyone was.
What happens in the credits is that the director and writer, specifically it was Edward Norton's idea, and even Kevin Feige's idea, because Ang Lee's Hulk came out in 2003, just a few years before.
I have not seen that movie either.
That the audience, it's not very good. It's even worse, in my opinion.
Really?
But so the audience, yes, the audience would already have an understanding of the character, and they would reveal things slowly over time. The idea was, instead of having another 40-minute Hulk origin story just a few years after the first one, they thought it would be better if they told it silently without any dialogue, which I appreciate. I genuinely
it was smart. It's just that visually it was really hard to follow.
Visually. And we'll get into that later with special effects and stuff.
Yeah.
So what happens is that they basically just tell the origin story of the Hulk with pictures, in a way, is with silent videos, just with music playing over it and credits playing over it. And so it shows how Bruce Banner was in this machine, and he's looking at presumably his girlfriend and this old guy in military clothing. And then the experiment goes wrong. He turns into the Hulk. He hurts the lady and the army guy, and then runs off into the distance. And immediately we kind of see the main conflict of the movie. We see who the villain's going to be. We see that it's probably the military guy, who it is. And we see the other
hey! Do not get in chill with the villain territory, okay?
Oh, we'll get there.
So yeah, credits. I just, that was hard to follow for me. I didn't know what's going on. But then we get, I think, a flash on screen is some days accent. I think it's 158, but I'm not confident in that at all. We'll just say so and so days without incident. We're gonna see that a lot. We open up in a town. I think it's Brazil.
It's in Brazil.
Yeah, where we have our boy Banner. He wakes up from a nightmare. And presumably his nightmare was what the credits was. Okay, fine. And he's like, morning routine. And so he has a dog, and the dog's name is Rick. I don't know if that's an Easter egg, anything about that, anything. It's the dog's name is Rick. Not that it's important. So he's learning Portuguese, and he's watching Sesame Street, which is weird. Oh no, that makes sense. No, wait. So wasn't he watching Sesame Street to learn Portuguese?
Portuguese.
Okay, so that's so smart. Because he had I think it's a dictionary of Portuguese and English.
Yes.
Yeah, and so he's learning relaxing techniques, which, good on him. All right. So, he So then, we're in a factory. He's helping out. It's showing that he's smart. I like that. It showed that he's smart. He can fix things. And he's joking around with the manager, even though it's I don't believe it because, yeah, whatever. So he cuts himself. He cuts himself on a clip, and boom, that's the reason this whole movie happened, because the blood falls, and he's like, oh no, but he finds out that it didn't reach in the bottles, but oh no, it did fall in the bottle, but he doesn't know that. So Bruce leaves. So there's some big boys. A big boy, is harassing the coworker. What's the coworker's name?
I don't know.
Is it like
there are a lot of characters in this movie that have names that I did not remember.
Yeah, coworker. I think it's like Tina or something like that. I don't know. We'll call her Tina. Bruce comes and he's like, "Hey, you want to come lunch with me?" And the gang dude, he's like, "Yo, hey man, what are you doing?" And so Bruce cautions him in Portuguese. He's like, "Hey, don't make me hungry." Ha! It's funny. He said hungry instead of angry. Isn't that funny? Isn't this a joke in the movie that totally will not get beaten to death throughout this movie? At least through the beginning sections. I hate this joke. I hate it so much. Okay. Yeah, and then confused. So Bruce goes over. The manager pops up, and he's like, "Hey, something in Portuguese." Subtitles was blocking it. I had subtitles on, and the subtitles was like speaking in Portuguese or whatever, and so I don't know what he said, but I don't care.
Really?
Yeah, no.
No, my version had actual subtitles.
No. So yeah, I watched it on. I rented it on Amazon. And so I was watching it with subtitles, the movie with subtitles, and so whenever someone would speak in Portuguese, it would say speaking in Portuguese, hiding the subtitles that were in the movie. Because I know the movie had subtitles for the speaking, but they were being blocked by the closed captions. So I don't know. I don't know what anyone was saying, but I'm willing to bet it's just not important. It's
basically just the manager breaking up the fight.
Yeah. So she's talking to some dude named Mr. Blue. No, then he goes home and it's on a computer. It's like, oh, it's encrypting something, which doesn't seem right because I think it's
an encrypted message. He's trying to hide his location.
I know, but he would try to decrypt. That makes sense. I was thinking of like him trying to decrypt the drive or whatever, because like the drive's encrypted, but like he plugged it into decrypted. It's like, oh, why is it saying encrypted? But yeah, I don't. Whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. And so they're talking about Bruce's little problem. All right, Bruce Banner, he has erectile dysfunction. Okay,
that's not what it is.
He ends up getting his blood. He doesn't want to, but he gives up some of his blood. No. He gets a package and it's a flower. He's applying the juice to his blood. Because he wants to make Viagra to control his erectile dysfunction.
It's not what it is.
Bruce, it turns red, and then the dysfunction green overcomes the blood. It's like, oh, no change. This doesn't work. Because I have a really rare condition of erectile dysfunction, so Viagra doesn't work. Oh.
Not what it is.
And so, no change. And then, oh yeah, Mr. Blue was like, yo, you need to come to New York. And then I think he doesn't want to, but I'm not sure on that. It doesn't matter. We're at the Pentagon now. All right.
Yeah.
Oh no, he looks at a picture of Betty. Who I thought was dead. I thought she was dead. Like, the way they framed everything, I thought she was dead, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Pentagon. The general dude, General Ross. I don't even remember who he's played by. Whatever. Ross.
Is the only returning actor.
Yeah, because he was in William Hurt. He's played by William Hurt, and he's in Civil War. Yeah, but
in a few actually. He's in Civil War. He's in. I think he's actually in Endgame.
No, he's in Infinity War. I remember. He's the dude who's like he wanted War Machine to arrest.
He is in Endgame as well.
He is? Huh.
Yeah, he's in Endgame, Infinity War, and Civil War. He's in.
What are those? Those haven't happened yet. We're in 2008. Those movies hasn't happened yet. So. You know what? Yeah.
Endgame?
We're at the Pentagon, and then General Ross. He's like, oh, we see another woman and an old man in Ohio died. A lady comes in and she's like, oh man, an old man in Ohio died after receiving poisoning. And then we see we see a Stan Lee cameo. He died. I don't like this cameo, but whatever. Stan Lee.
I don't even remember if is there a Stan Lee cameo in Iron Man?
Oh, in Iron Man, yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, no, he's being really pervy. It's
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. I remember.
So the man who died in Ohio is Stan Lee. He drank the erectile dysfunction juice. And Rossi's like, oh, I know it.
And then Stanley dies peacefully in his sleep. Rest in peace.
So Ross, he's like, go get him. So they go to America, and then we see it. Is this where we get what's his face? I don't even remember his face. He's Russian born but American trained.
Yes.
He's played by Tim Roth.
His name's he's Emil Blonsky.
Okay, so I'm just gonna call him Tim. So Tim, he's like, you know what? Okay, Tim automatically. I don't know. I can't say anything about Tim. So they go to Brazil. Oh no, we get a god dang chase scene. Fun fact: this is all I think we're 30 minutes in right now, and we get a chase scene. That goes to show how much just nothing happens. So we get a chase scene. It's boring. Oh, and so he's running, and then the Portuguese the gang dude. He's like, oh yo, and he's like, oh me angry very bad. And the leader's like, haha, yeah, you're angry, and he punches him, and then the troops come in, and whatever, and the Bruce's eyes. They flash green just a moment, whatever, and then suddenly he turns. Which I will give this the one good thing I'll say about this movie. This was cool. Him turning into Hulk was cool. Until they showed what he looks like. When it was in the dark, and we didn't get a good look at his face. He was just like, oh, what? It was scary, and I liked it. It was frightening. I liked it. And he turns, and we see his face. And holy crap, the special effects on the Hulk are just really bad. He looks terrible.
Yeah.
I'm just. It's a shame because again, it was so cool. Them not showing what he looked like was cool. I'm a sucker for that. Where we get a CG monster, but we don't get to see what it looks like, hiding it under this intrigue and mystery. I like that. Then they show him, and it's like, oh, you look really bad, and then he flees, and then Ross is like, oh, you did a good job, and they leave. Oh, one day without incident. And so Bruce, he wakes up during a waterfall. Boom, and then what's the word I'm looking for? Hitchhike. He hitchhiked. He's like, hey, I need help. Where am I? He's like, oh, you're in Guatemala. And then Bruce,
fairly different country.
Yeah, and then the driver's like, oh, I'll help you. So he takes him to town, and then that's where we get the purple pants reference. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
First purple pants reference.
Yeah, and so meanwhile, Tim's talking to Ross, and Ross ends up telling him what's going on, and Ross is like, whoa, back in World War II, there's a lot of special programs being worked on. Oh, what is this? Super soldier. What is this a reference to? Oh, I don't know. Is this... Whoa, cool.
Oh yeah. This is a reference to Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, they reference Captain America, which is cool. I did like that. It's cool.
Actually, something that I can appreciate about this movie is, like Iron Man, it tries its hardest to extend the world around the film
Yeah.
while making sure not to just blow it out. Just be like, hey, there's this thing that's going on, and this thing that's going on, and this thing that's going on.
Unlike another movie featuring a Marvel superhero, this time by Sony, called Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, I'm not going to go into details, but yeah, I do appreciate it. It doesn't feel bloated. This movie doesn't feel bloated. Quite the opposite.
It tries to hold itself back.
I think it holds itself back way too much. But whatever. Wait, what?
So do I. It does hold itself back.
No, I thought you said why, and I was like, whoa, my friend, did you not see the same movie? So, you know what, something about Tim is like, oh yeah, they're trying to recreate the serum. That's how Hulk came to be, to recreate the serum. And I guess they didn't learn their lesson because Tim's like, you know, I want that. For some reason, he wants that. Whatever. 17 days with that incident. We're now in Virginia. Culver University, where Bruce, he's like, whatever. He's stalking Betty. He's trying to
get, yeah.
So yeah,
trying to get the original project data from the university lab.
So, and then we see Betty's boyfriend, and it's Ty Burrell. And holy cow, Ty Burrell was a really good actor. All right, I like Ty Burrell a lot. Holy cow, he's so boring in this movie. How is that possible? What? Like Edward Norton's a good actor too, and he's so boring in this movie. Like what? Everyone's boring. This movie's boring. So the owner of a pizza parlor, Stanley, I think his name is, I think it's Stanley, but I know it's played by Paul Soules, whatever. And so he's an old friend. Bruce, he asked about Samson. Envy joke. Funny. And then they ask for 2 more things. He needs a place to stay for a few days and a job. So boom, he's a pizza guy now. It's pizza time. And so there's a guard. Fun fact. The guard, Lou Ferrigno. I think that's how to pronounce it. Lou Ferrigno. Who played Hulk from the TV series. So cool. Cool Easter egg. We get it. The Hulk TV series is way better than this goddamn movie. Whatever. He gets to go upstairs, and then Bruce, he tells Blue that he has bad news, and then gets out of there. And so that night...
it's the fun fact, a little Easter egg. It's not really an Easter egg for this movie, but it does come in later. The computer nerd sitting in the lab that Bruce goes into with the pizza is the same actor who would later come back into the MCU, not recast, but as the same character, to be the principal or the teacher, whatever he is, from Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far From Home.
Which is a really good movie, a way better movie than this movie. Just saying.
Get to that later on.
Yeah, we will get to that. I'm so excited for that. But you know what? That's cool. I like that. This will not be the first time that character has an Easter egg. Betty and Ty Burrell comes in, and they're talking to Stanley, and then they come and and then I think Betty sees him, and then she runs after him, and they're like, okay, guys, I do not buy this relationship at all. Am I the only one? Their chemistry just doesn't work. Like, they're acquaintances. It feels like it does not feel like they're lovers. It does not work. I just didn't buy it.
It doesn't feel like an awkward romance. It feels like an awkward friendship.
Yeah. It's just really weird. Ty Burrell's character, he was shafted because we can tell that obviously Betty really likes Hulk. Yeah, he really likes Bruce Banner. Yeah, I almost called him Edward Norton. Bruce Banner. I almost forgot Hulk. See, maybe I'm just not good in this movie because Hulk as a character, I don't like Hulk that much. Okay, he's probably my least favorite Marvel superhero. Well, no, that's not true. Actually, yeah, it is true. Even like even going through like all the C list to D list to F list to freaking Z list superheroes, Hulk is just something I just don't care about. Like, oh, he turns angry and he's big and green. Okay, cool. His powers are lame. Where's Spider-Man at? It's see, yeah, maybe that's part of the reason why, like, no. Okay, I like Bruce Banner as a character. I like Bruce Banner. I just don't like Hulk. So the fact that we get a really boring like Hulk, who I think is really boring, but we also get a really boring Bruce Banner, I just doesn't work for me. But whatever. I think we get a scene with Tim. Syringe, or not syringe. Like he get the serum. They get the serum. Whatever. Cool. I'm saying whatever a lot, but this is how I feel about this movie. The next day, Bruce and Betty are walking through the college, and they're talking, and it's really stiff. Whatever. Now, I think we see Betty crying. I don't remember why though. Oh, wait a minute. Is this where wait? Is this where we get the quote unquote fight scene?
Yes.
Well, we get a quote unquote fight scene with Hulk where I think does he talk? He talks in this movie and I don't like that. I don't like when Hulk talks.
He talks a few times, but very, very rarely.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Much less. Yeah. He only has like 3 lines in the entire film.
I just don't like him talking at all. Like, I didn't like him talking in Thor Ragnarok. I didn't like him talking in...
I am going to disagree with you on that. I genuinely like
Okay.
Let me character in the MCU.
Maybe I worked. Okay, now that I think about it, I don't like Hulk talking in coherent sentences. I don't like Hulk when he seems smart. Thor Ragnarok, I think I appreciate more because he's just a big dumb oaf. I'm fine with that. It's played for comedic purposes. I'm just saying, usually I don't like Hulk talking. I don't like Hulk. But yeah, we get this fight scene, and Hulk he likes Betty. Well, he protects Betty, and they run. Whatever. They're on the run now, so they're in the mountains in I think North Carolina, but I don't care enough to check. So they wake up, and so Hulk. I think Hulk still. He's mad at Lightning, and Betty calms him down, and Hulk's like, and then so boom, we cut to Did we cut? Whatever. He's back. No, we're now in... I don't remember. Oh, no.
We really shouldn't go scene by scene for this next part until the end, because the rest of this section is just about Bruce Banner and Betty Ross trying to get to Mr. Blue in order for him to find a cure.
Yeah. Well, in between there...
On the other side of the spectrum, Ross and Tim, as we are calling him, Ross and Emil Blonsky basically continue trying to make Blonsky a big, scary guy.
But I think we get a scene where Betty and Bruce are trying to get it on, but then Bruce is like, "No, I have erectile dysfunction. I can't get it up." And then Betty's like, "No, it's fine. You know what? Like, it happens. All right, I can do soft." And then Hulk's like, "No, it's embarrassing. Whatever. It doesn't matter." Whatever. Okay, you know what? Moral of the story: for some reason, Tim Tim wants to be a big scary monster, and it's weird. So we get it's a lab. We get in a lab. Oh well, now we're in Stearns, and Stearns is like, you know what? Like he obviously he's crazy. Okay, he's like, oh, you know what? Like, I have subjects. And he's like, what subjects? Like, oh, I actually copied your blood. And then Bruce is like, no, you're crazy. I agree, he's crazy. But now we're on the ground. Whatever. Spar's interrogating Stearns. So it gets knocked by Tim, and Tim's like, make me big. And he turns into Abomination. We get Abomination, and Abomination looks really dumb. Agreed? I'm gonna look up Abomination right now.
I guess you could say his looks are an abomination.
I'm looking up in the comics because I remember him looking cool in the comics, but I'm not well versed in the whole comics. I've read a few, but like
the CGI doesn't work with that.
Also, like, he doesn't have his like ears. His head looks dumb. He doesn't have his like iconic ears. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks dumb. Abomination looks dumb. For some reason, like, he got what he wanted, but I don't like Abomination when he talks. Unacceptable. I hate it so much. I really don't like it. Because we can tell that Abomination's smart, and you know what? Whatever. Okay, so we get a fight scene. No, we don't get a fight scene. Like, seemingly, Bruce is free of the Hulk curse. He got his Viagra that he wanted, so he's happy. But then Abomination, he's down there, and then Hulk. Well, no, they get it on the radio, and it's like, oh no, we got the Hulk smashing. And then Ross is like, what? I have Hulk right here. What are you talking about? This isn't a beach. This is a bathtub. Ross, you're dumb. So, and then, you know what? Bruce is like, I have to do it. And so he jumps down. And it's like, oh no. Oh, but they cut. Oh yeah, they kiss. Betty and Bruce kiss. And it's not believable. The relationship, dumb. Whack. Yeah, he crashes, but then he smashes, and boom, it's Hulk. He's fine now. His erectile dysfunction's back. And so Hulk, they fight, and it's really dumb. It's lame. But to my surprise, Abomination's fine? Like, he's not dead? Like, whoa, I think people think that Hulk's dead. I don't remember for sure, though. Or he's about to kill Abomination, but for some reason Betty's like, no, stop! And then Hulk, he's like, okay, you know what, fine. And so they arrest him, which I don't know how that would work, but yeah. Abomination he's whatever. But Hulk, he flees. I think he flees. How does he get to British Columbia?
Just gets there, he like jumps and stuff. Hulk is big.
No,
he's big.
But like, British Columbia is really. How far? British Columbia is really far, though, isn't it?
British Columbia.
Yeah. How did it get there? That's kind of sus, but whatever. So, and then 31 days without incident. Whatever. It doesn't.
British Columbia is in Canada.
Huh?
British Columbia is in Canada.
I know that. I'm just saying, how did he... You know what? Whatever. He somehow got to Portugal or Brazil or whatever. Okay. Doesn't matter. He got to British Columbia. And, you know, we get the scene where he looks up and he's like, oh, he's controlling his erectile dysfunction, and then his eyes are glowing green. Why? What was the point of that? What was the point of showing that? That he doesn't want to control it?
The idea, like, if you look it up, so the reason they put that scene in, it wasn't. It was basically to. The idea was to create two situations. One situation is that if they wanted to make a sequel to this movie before the Avengers came out, which they decided not to, then the idea would be that the second movie would be about how Bruce Banner is able to control the Hulk now. But the other situation is that if they decided to just go straight into the Avengers, then they wouldn't have. Then they would just make it a subplot, sort of like an explanation, as oh yeah, I can control my powers now.
But like
which ended up.
It's like an evil grin though, isn't it? He
weird.
smiled like it sounds evil, like whatever. Post-credit scene. Just kidding, it's not a post-credit scene. For some reason, they have this scene before the credits, even though it is a post-credit scene. So, black screen, we hear Ross. He's, like, drunk, I think. He's in a bar, and he's a boring bar in a boring city with a boring uniform. It's undone, he's rough, and the bartender refills his drink, and then the door opens. And I start smiling as soon as Tony Stark comes in, and I'm like, that movement, that's Tony Stark. And, oh, it's Tony Stark. So he sidles up to Ross. And it's like, you know what? Condolences for failing to capture Banner, but then he's like, "Oh, I have a team. We have a team." And then Ross is like, "Who's we?" And then we cut to black, and the movie is over. Thank the gods! I hate this movie so much with a burning passion. I actually dislike this movie, and for me, as someone, okay, this may be weird to say as a host of the Homebrew Movie Retinue podcast, but I am not a movie person. I respect the art form of movies. Like, I can get behind... I can get behind movies, just like, actually watching movies sometimes is a drag for me. Unless they're movies that I could really enjoy. And
when it's we need to do a mutiny then. What the fuck?
No, I'm saying
movies doesn't like movies.
I'm not saying I don't like movies. I'm saying when there's a movie that's really bad, the only thing I can think about is like, I could be playing video games right now. Like, the whole time watching this movie, I was like, I can go play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 right now. Like, I just wanna... It was such a drag. Every part of this movie was a drag. It felt so long. And the fact that it was short... Thank you for being short, but wow, I did not feel like it. I think that's the third time I'm saying that. It's the shortest MCU movie at 1 hour and 52 minutes.
Holy shit.
Something I want to bring up that I noticed pretty much immediately into the movie is that... So, well, not immediately into the movie. Actually, kind of, yeah. So the whole idea at the beginning of this movie is that he only turns into the Hulk when he's angry. But the problem with that, and I'm glad they kind of established this later in the films, later in the series, is that that's not the case at all. Because most of the time when he turns into the Hulk, he's not angry, he's actually, like, super scared. Weird inconsistency, because the dialogue, like, in the chase scene when he's being beat up by the guys, by his coworkers.
Well, okay, it's not anger, it's stress. In this movie, they're like, anger, but in the MCU, after this, it's established that it's actually stress, which makes more sense than just angry.
Yeah.
And that, again, goes to show this movie doesn't matter. Jesus Christ.
The problem is that during, like, that scene, for example, the dialogue is he's saying, "You wouldn't like me when I'm angry," but he's just, like, super scared. Like, it doesn't match up. Like, he's obviously not angry, but he's saying, "I'm angry, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry." It doesn't match up. And that's really my biggest problem with the movie.
That's your biggest problem in the movie? Not the fact that the movie sucks?
No, I genuinely do not think that this is the worst movie in the world.
Obviously it's not the worst movie in the world. I'm just saying...
I think it's a genuinely, like, I think reviews that came out around that time gave it a 6 out of 10, 6.25 out of 10, something like that. And I agree with it. It's nothing below a 5. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's just mediocre.
I think it's a bad movie, especially near the end. Like, okay, fine. Like, this movie, you know, it's getting better, but not by much. I just the slow start, and by slow start I mean the whole first and half the second act is just bland and boring and nothing happens. Like how? There's one fight scene, I think, 1.5 fight scenes in this movie, like where we barely get to see the Hulk being the Hulk, which
there's 2.5.
Is it's sometimes it's fun when you have a superhero movie and we get to see the side of the not the superhero but like the character. Like it's fun generally. I'm gonna give a Spider-Man example. Getting a Spider-Man movie where we don't get a lot of Spider-Man, we get a lot of good Peter stuff. I feel like that's fine, but not for the first Hulk movie in the MCU, the first and only Hulk movie in the MCU. We do not establish how Hulk fights at all. We do not get a good... Like, yeah, okay, Ang Lee's Hulk was a couple years before this. You know, the Fine and Danny. But this is different. I assume this is different than Ang Lee's Hulk. Like, the fact that, like, we don't really need to show too much Hulk because people know who Hulk is. Like, no, we don't know who this version of Hulk is. That's the problem. That's ultimately a big problem I have. I do not get a good grasp of who this Hulk is in this movie. Honestly,
So I disagree. So the thing is that the Incredible Hulk as a character, the idea behind it is not necessarily the whole. Like, I guess it kind of works like in the 1978, I think it's 1978 TV series
77.
where it was a sort of monster. 77.
Yeah.
TV series where it's sort of like a monster of the week situation, and so every single episode is somewhat Bruce Banner, but also there has to be a fight scene between Hulk and a villain. Like all superhero TV shows at the time. Like, it's a monster of the week situation. But in the comics and in Ang Lee's Hulk and in this and even further on in the MCU, the Hulk's biggest factor as a character is, and they don't go enough into this, is that they establish that Bruce Banner doesn't understand the Hulk and that he's afraid of him and doesn't know what to do. What
that's fine and Danny, so they don't do that well.
Enough is try and establish the split personality of the Hulk, where one side is this geeky scientist, and the other side is this hulking monstrosity with that. It's not that he's not smart. Like, the Hulk is another side of Bruce Banner. He's a different person, and they 100%. Do go on in the other MCU films, which is good.
This movie just doesn't do that, though.
I'm not disappointed with the action. I think.
Continue.
So I'm not disappointed with the
Hello.
The action. Let me restart. So I'm not as disappointed with the action as I would be with a different character. I'm more disappointed with the fact that we don't see Hulk's personality. We see him just as this big angry monster rather than the more personal side of the character.
Yeah, no, 100%. We don't get enough of Hulk, which is weird for me saying, 'cause as someone just like Hulk, but like when we get the fight with Abomination and Hulk, I'm just like, what is this? All right, what's happening?
So another weird thing is that they try and do that in the movie. They try and, like, there's this scene where Bruce and Betty are in a car together, and Betty asks him, so what is it like when the Hulk comes out and stuff? And they have this sort of like mini argument. It seemed like an argument, actually. It wasn't even really a discussion. It was like she was trying to tell him, like, no, this is how it actually is. Which was weird. That was weird writing.
Yeah.
But
after that, when she gets out of the cab, she gets this.
They talk about how what it feels like to be with the Hulk, and she's like, well, maybe actually it's just a different side of your personality, but you can't comprehend what's going on because of this. And he's like, maybe, but actually I think he's just an entirely different person, which is the reality, which is why that scene annoys me so much.
And then, again, she gets mad at the cab driver because he's driving recklessly, and they get out, and we get this really weird scene of her yelling at the cab driver, and it's like, wow, she went from really quiet to like now she's like really angry, and it's super out of place. I feel. Also, Edward Norton in this movie is really quiet.
He's not typically like a loud character in most of his stuff, but he's
it's
really quiet.
No, obviously Liv Taylor's character, Ross, Betty Ross, is way quieter. I don't like her character in this movie, and it's a shame because Liv Taylor is a good actress, but I don't blame anyone in this movie for how it turned out. None of the actors. The actors, like the portrayal of how they portray the characters in this movie is not their fault.
And the biggest problem is in the script, and I think the worst thing about it is, so when they were writing the script, so it was originally written by the screenwriter Zach Penn.
Yeah.
And then when Norton was hired for the film, they hired him both to act as Bruce Banner and also to be just sort of like another screenwriter.
Which isn't unheard of. He does do that a lot.
He does that a lot, which is good. Like, he's not a bad... He's actually a pretty good writer.
Yeah.
And he is responsible for some of the better scenes in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the better stuff in this movie. But the biggest problem is that, so when Zach Penn was writing it, it seems like he wasn't sure whether or not this was a reboot or a sequel. And that goes all the way through development. Because the idea was that because Ang Lee's Hulk existed and they were going to do a sequel to that movie, which is what Zach Penn was originally hired to do, make it a reboot. The public consensus was that this isn't really a sequel, but it's not really a reboot. It's part of the MCU. It's part of this Iron Man universe. But it's sort of like Ang Lee's Hulk is an alternate reality. Different thing. Which still nobody really supports anymore. Not even Feige. Not even Kevin Feige, the guy in charge of Marvel Studios who came up with that idea, is like, no, they're unrelated. They're unrelated. It didn't happen.
Honestly, like, they kind of pretend the Incredible Hulk didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's
was writing the script. He was writing it as sort of as a sequel to Ang Lee's Hulk, because that was the idea, is that they wanted the sequel was going to have Abomination and the Leader and
who was the villain in Ang Lee's Hulk?
Huh?
Who was the villain in Ang Lee's Hulk?
It's complicated. It was partially General Ross, I think, but it was also like, I don't even remember. It was a weird character. He ended up being like another ambiguous space cloud at the end, like all bad superhero movie villains. To Green Lantern and Fantastic, or to Rise of the Silver Surfer for that one.
Jeez. So plot is over. That's shortest plot summary we've had so far, because I didn't care enough to write anything down. I wrote down Easter eggs. That's about it. I just didn't like this movie. I really didn't. We can agree that this we won't go into ranking it. But this, you know what, we're way on. But yeah, this movie is just, it's not good.
Do we want to talk about? Because I kind of mentioned everything. Actually, no. There's one more thing. So, I will say this movie. What's funny about it is that there is one thing that I think was done better than Iron Man, and that's just because the music in Iron Man sucks.
Okay, yeah. The score of this movie, while not overly memorable,
also generally like, I guess like stereotypical like original soundtrack for this movie, and you don't really remember the music, but it's not ambient. It's just actual. Like, orchestral film scoring.
Yeah,
and
no,
so that
it was good. It was good. All right, the score for this movie was good. Again, like I said, not overly memorable. I don't even remember a whole kind of theme, but I did like it.
It's kind of like how what they eventually did with Spider-Man: Homecoming, just not as good. They used
that movie score is so good. I actually own that soundtrack, the score and like the licensed soundtrack. Not even kidding.
Yeah, Michael Giacchino is my favorite film composer.
So good.
I can talk for hours about how I love that man.
So yeah, score good. Anything? Do we have anything else positive to say about this movie? What do you, Tyler? Do you have anything positive about this movie to say?
I am really, really glad that it's not a 2-hour-long movie.
You know what? I'm glad too. Wow. Ready to move on to chilling with the villains?
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chilling with the Villains. I'm the host of Chilling with the Villains, as per usual. Where we're ranking all the MCU villains. This week, Abomination, and kind of Ross, General Ross, kind of. I'm reluctant to put him on the list, so I'm gonna put him on the list as it's Abomination and kind of Ross.
Yeah, I think really like Ross isn't much of a villain. He's just like an imposing force. Because really in the film really what happens is that he chases after Banner the whole time, which is good. Ross is, I think, better villain in this movie, the better character. But
not better villain. Better character, but not better villain. Neither of these quote unquote villains are better. They're both just eh.
Yeah, but the more villainy one in this film is definitely Emil Blonsky /
But
Abomination.
even then, his motivations are like what? Like
he seems like an evil character for the sake of being evil.
yeah, which is why we're putting him at number 2. Agreed? I don't care he's at number 2. So far, Chilling with the Villains ranking from worst to best. Number 2, Abomination and kind of Hulk. No, Abomination and kind of Ross. And number 1, Obadiah Stane, the Ironmonger. Woo! Now let's go on to, are we ready to rank this movie?
I think so.
Yeah.
Last, number 2. Are we in agreement? Do we even need to vote?
Yes.
No.
Okay, yeah, so the final rankings for the MCU, the HMRs, A Marvelous Retrospective. From worst to best, number 2, The Incredible Hulk, 2008. Number 1, Iron Man, 2008. Yeah.
Wait until we add more movies to this.
Yeah. So, do we have anything else to add? I thought this would be longer, but it's not.
No, I think I'm good. I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about.
I'm gonna go to sleep and erase all of this from my memory. I don't ever want to think about the movie again. I don't even want to think about this podcast again, talking about the movie. I want nothing about this movie in my memory.
This movie, I won't think about. I won't think about this movie.
Sorry, excuse me. What movie are we talking about again? Oh, Iron Man. I love Iron Man.
Well, I will say it's not forgettable, which is somewhat of a compliment. Like I'm surprised I remembered as much of the plot as I did, but at the same time, that's not saying much because what I did remember, it's just bad. So yeah, next week, guys. Iron Man 2, I think?
Yeah, Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2. I'm excited. All right. Woo!
I'm not.
I like Iron Man 2, actually, a lot.
I honestly don't really remember my thoughts on Iron Man 2, so I'm excited. For a lot of these early MCU movies, I don't really remember too well. So it's an experience. So yeah, next week, Iron Man 2. Get excited. This has been HMR, the Homebrew Movie Retinue Podcast, a marvelous retrospective. You can find us on Podbean, on SoundCloud, and on YouTube. You can find me on literally pretty much any social media or whatever you want to find. YouTube is nearest here, one word. Just go search that up and boom, you can find it. Though that is where a lot of you guys are listening to this, so thank you for that. On YouTube you can find me. Also on social media, search Detective Prince 46 on anything and you'll find me. I'm everywhere. Where can we find you, Tyler?
You can find me on Instagram at stylist2418. If you do, good on you. I love you.
Where can we find you, Ben?
Again, as always, I have no public social media.
Which, Ben, you need to get on that, alright? You need to get on that.
I probably...
Or, instead of the people that want to go follow him, since he doesn't have any, you come follow me instead.
Exactly. Follow Tyler.
Yes,
he's got some fun art stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice.
No, I don't.
Or you can, check me out on SoundCloud. No, or Band... Actually, yeah, I had never plugged my Bandcamp, where I sell my music. You can find me there. Link in description below. Music stuff coming. I do music. Yeah, that's my spiel. So yeah, this is. Anything else? Anyone have anything to add? Anything? All right. What about you, Tyler? Anything to add?
I don't know. The movie was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, this has been HMR. That's it from us. So, guys, have a marvelous day.
Woo, yeah! Bye, everybody.